So Resident Evil 4 has been out for a couple of weeks now, and I wanted to do a review on this game when it first came out, but I just wanted to kind of get more of a feel for it, play it through it a couple of times before I talked about it. So this video is going to basically go over a couple of things. I don't want to make this video too long because I'm pretty sure you guys have seen other reviews about it, so I want to just give you guys my points about it, and just talk about a couple of things I liked and enjoyed about the game and kind of compare it to the original game as well. Now, the first thing I want to say is that, did Resident Evil 4 really need to be remade? I would say yes and no. The yes part would have to do with the controls. Tank controls just don't go over well with the new generation these days. Old school folks like myself, we could deal with them. I actually enjoy them, but they just don't transition over well, I would say. Movement in these type of games should be fluid. You shouldn't be walking around stiff and you're like you guys know what I'm saying. Like, it just doesn't match up with action-oriented games, I would think. Now, the no part is that Resident Evil 4 is all over the place. I mean, golly, I would think that Capcom would have thought of another game to work on because, like, Resident Evil 4, the original, is available on every platform pretty much. There's just you can't turn around without finding Resident Evil 4, the original, on some kind of platform to play it on. So I figured like that was their greatest game, so they were kind of done with it. But as you guys can tell, Capcom is really in love with the Resident Evil engine that they created for Resident Evil 7. So, they're going to utilize that to its fullest. So we're going to see quite a few more games using that engine. Hopefully they'll finally get to Dino Crisis or Code Veronica like we've been asking them to. They keep trying to skip over and everything. It's like, dude, do what the people tell you. Like, go to the game they want created. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. Let's continue. Now, I bought this game on the PlayStation 4. The reason why is because I want to be able to play it on the PS4 and the PS5. Switch it up, see what the differences are. And I gotta admit, I was very impressed with the PS4 version. It played well. I was surprised. Usually, when a new generation system comes out, companies do half measures on the previous generation platform. But Capcom put a lot of effort into it. Now, I can't remember if it was 60 frames on the Pro or not. So I'm pretty sure someone in the comments will be able to tell me, but it was smooth. I didn't see the frame rate drop while I was playing on the PS4. Now, though I'm saying the game looks beautiful, it's ugly at the same time because though the game graphically, stands out, the environments you're going to are ugly as hell because you're going to this trumped up village, this shanky village pretty much, and it just looks ugly with all the debris around. But that's not taken away from the game being beautiful. It's just like you're in ugly environments, but they're beautiful, if that makes sense. I like the way the game started out being at nighttime, where the original started somewhere in the daytime, afternoon, morning. I can't remember when, but it just gives you the sense of eeriness. Like at nighttime, like you can't see what's going on. It's pretty intense. So good job on the developers for actually starting the game at nighttime. I was hoping that the whole game would play out through night, but it pretty much goes through a cycle, I would say. So it's actually pretty cool. Now, the sound of the game, whew, man, this is very well done as well. There was parts in the game where, it really tripped me out. And one of the enemies in the game that I was fearful in the original game, you guys remember him, Verdugo. Yes, he is back, the butcher, the killer, the stalker. It is just as insane as it was in the original game. Now, this was probably the last time I was actually scared in a Resident Evil game was Resident Evil 4. And of course, Remake 2, which I'll get to that. When you dealing with him for the first time, there's a quick time event where you throw a knife at him or Salazar. Can't remember which one. And then he grabs a knife and tosses it back at you, and you have to do a quick time event to dodge it. If you don't hit the quick time event, you're dead. And I was like, oh my god, like, are you serious? So when it came time to fight him, I was literally terrified because I could tell this enemy had some skills. Like, he's going to be tough to beat him. At least for me, it was the first time. But what I was trying to get to is that the game you'll hear all kind of sounds of enemies. They're lurking around, but you don't know where they're at. And Resident Evil 4 Remake did a great job of that. The Regenerators was another enemy. When you got to this section where they're at, you could hear them, but you couldn't see where they're at. So that whole atmosphere, how that played out, was great. And the same thing with this boss. So the sound in this game, superb. The voice acting, I would say, I liked it as well. I'll get to a little bit more of that when I talk about the characters. So the controls, one of the most important things about this game is the control. In a panicky situation or just an emergency type of situation, you want your character to be able to move around fluidly. You don't want to have like stiffness or anything like that. You want to be able to move around and get out of those situations as quick as possible. And thankfully, Resident Evil 4 has those type of controls where if you need to get out of a certain situation, you can do that. Now, the only thing I disagree with is how fast Leon runs during some situations. It's like, man, if I was in that situation, I would have took off way faster than he was running. Like, he kind of runs at a slight jog, kind of, in a way. Maybe that's to keep his stamina or whatever like that. I don't know. But if you're in a terrifying situation, you got to get out of there. But the controls, when it comes to him and Ashley together, I think really work well in this game, because you give her commands, you can tell her to stay back or hang tight with you, and she'll run close to you, which is great. So I thought that was really well done. In general, being able to run in all directions very easy just makes the game just a lot more pleasant to play over the original game, I would say, especially when it comes to boss fights, very tense boss fights like Jack Krauser. Now, going into the characters of the game, I want to say that Leon was well done. I like the way they portrayed him. It's how I expected. I like how they portrayed him in the original Resident Evil 4. So either version of Leon is fine, but I think they did a good job on him in this one. Ashley, oh man, what an improvement. The original Ashley, I didn't have so much of a problem with, but now that I'm looking back at it, man, like, she was kind of annoying with all the help she needed. But, I understand being in the situation, but I do like the new Ashley they have in this game. She's very reliable, I would say, when it comes to certain situations. So there was a fight I was in, and she was actually helping me during the fight, which I thought was great. So definitely thumbs up for Ashley in this game. Ada. Now, I know a lot of people are complaining about Ada's voice actor, but you gotta look at it like this, guys. The voice actor can only do as well as the script she's given, or they're given or whatever like that. So I'm not blaming the voice actors for being kind of dull. I mean, she kind of had a dull script, because the way they wrote Ada in this game was just kind of lame. She wasn't flirtatious like she was in the original one or whatever like that. She was kind of like weird and off, and I was like, oh man, like, when I saw her on the screen and when she came around, she was just more of an annoyance. Like, she's like the new Ashley from Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil 4. But in saying that, I don't blame the actress. I blame the script writers. They wrote Ada's character bad in this game, and she's not very likable as of now. Now, there may be some DLC or separate ways or something else come out, maybe kind of flush her out a little bit. But as of right now, she just looks like a jerk, and, she's not really pleasant to be around. Now, Luis, big improvement on him. I thought he was great in this game. Though I liked him in the original as well, but they killed him off too fast in the original, man. It was very like what the heck, dude? Like, I think right at the time you get to the castle part, they offed him. In this game, he's around for much longer, which is great. And he's an enjoyable character to have around. He's funny. The guy that did his voice acting for him was great. So Luis, much better in this game. He got the time he deserved in this game, I would say. I don't know if I can say if there's an improvement on Salazar. I found him annoying in the original game and annoying in this one, but you don't see him that much in this one, so that was a good thing. But I am happy that his statue doesn't chase you like in the original. They kind of like implemented it in a better way, I would think. When you're going through the clock tower, you're climbing up, it kind of spins fire at you, but it's not running and chasing after you, because in the original game, that's where Resident Evil 4 got a bit silly. I still remember laughing as I was tapping the button, trying to run away from the statue. And I was like, what is this? The statue's chasing you now? Like, this, that was insane. So thank goodness they didn't put that in this game, because that was just too silly for me. Now, the main villain, Sadler, you don't really see him in this game as much as you do in the original game. You see most of him at the end, but you do see images of him like through these weird like hypnosis, like dreamlike states you go through, like when Leon gets infected. But he's not as silly as he was in the fourth game. He got a bit silly in that one too. Like the little interactions between him and Leon on the walkie-talkie, like talking crap to each other, was pretty annoying. I mean, it's annoying now, but back then it was kind of funny. But I would definitely say he's more intimidating in this game than he was in the original game. And it's nice that they show him towards the end, so you don't really see too much of him. They kind of played that part well. The villains, as they come in the game, they come in like in their own sections, which is nice. They don't like try to give them to you all at once like some other games do. So thankfully, he has a pretty good part, even though it's very short. Now, my favorite villain from the original Resident Evil 4, and even in this game, still my favorite villain, Jack Krauser. Man, did they rewrite his story well. They did him right in this game. I was so impressed. I know a lot of people, when they first saw him, they were upset with his voice actor. There's no way his original voice actor would have been able to catch the lines that he did in this game. I mean, the whole scenario with him and Leon in the past and everything, so well done. And the emotion in this character was pretty badass, especially towards the end. The whole fight with him was great. I do miss the drones from the original one. The drones were pretty cool, but the whole fight is played out very well. And I actually would choose this fight over the original games. They actually improved on it a lot. Also, in the original game, I fought Krauser with a knife because I thought that's how you were supposed to fight him. And he wasn't too bad in the original. I beat him the first time. But I know a lot of people didn't. I come to find out a lot of people didn't fight him like that. They were just shooting at him. In this game, I went at him with the knife until it broke. And it broke around the time on his second phase. So it had some pretty good quick time events with him. I got the timing right. It was a really fun boss battle. So anyways, yeah, definitely my favorite character in this game. No, they didn't really show Wesker too much, but I'm not going to say too much about him. My favorite Wesker is the Wesker from Code Veronica. That was my favorite one. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Now just to talk about my first experience with the game. So the villagers, very well done. I love. Well, they're tougher than they are in the original game. That's for sure. They will chase after you. They will try to corner you. They'll try to surround you. Very smart in this game. So good job on the AI director for that. They did a really good job. I really feel like I had a better experience with this game over the original game because one of the parts I hated about the original game was going through the castle. That part was very annoying, but actually going through the castle in this game, very enjoyable. And a lot of the enemies I felt some were better done in this game, but some were better in the original game. I forgot what the Wolverine Claw blind dude was called. I think he was scarier in the original game than this one because being able to move around as easy as you are in this one doesn't make him as terrifying. But in the original game with the stiff controls, dude, get me out of this room with this guy. He's insane. But anyways, guys, it looks like we're pretty much at almost at the 12-minute mark. So I want to go ahead and end this video there. I would definitely choose this Resident Evil over the original one. It adds enough to make it a better game, I would say. And there is some stuff cut out, which I'll list here. But to me, that stuff's not a big deal. Some of it got a bit silly. There's a lot of silly stuff in the original Resident Evil 4. There's only a couple silly things in this one to me, and that's the train cart ride. When I saw that, the way it played, I automatically thought about the log ride at Knott's Berry Farm. If you're from California, you guys know what I'm talking about when you take that dip. That's what I thought of the whole train cart ride. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I will end with this. I wish they would have gave Resident Evil 3 Remake the treatment they gave Resident Evil 4 Remake, because Resident Evil 3 had the most opportunity to bring a lot of new stuff to it, but they did some half measures with that one. And I don't know if I'll ever get over it. I will get over it, but just not anytime soon. I'm still bitter about it. I think they should do some kind of update to the game and fix it. But anyways, guys, I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching. Radical Reggie, and I'll see you all later.